Crazy small world. I just got off a call with Leah Whitman. She is a financial coach to help people through setting up their retirement, becoming financially free in less than 10 years. So if this sounds like something that is for you, it's not a gimmick. And as we were talking, I started connecting the dots because about 8 months ago, I actually ended up meeting the owner of this particular company. 2-3 weeks ago, I was encouraged to get on a call about the Wealth Without Wall Street. And then I have this Zoom call or this recording with Leah, and they're all three connected. So it's such a small world. God's hitting me in the face with, hey, go check this out, learn more about it, and figure out how you can set up your future. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in and setting up that financial freedom for you and your family and generational wealth, take a listen to this podcast and figure out if this is something for you or not.
Hello, fellow mompreneurs. Welcome to the Real Moms Podcast, the go-to space for resilient entrepreneurs who are striving for abundant living. I'm your host, Shae Spitz, a mompreneur and a realtor here in Columbus, Nebraska. Are you a mom juggling the hustle of entrepreneurship, family life, and personal growth? Well, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we dive deep into the real, unfiltered stories of incredible women who are navigating the journey of mompreneurship. We'll celebrate the victories, share practical insights, and acknowledge that it's okay to face challenges along the way. Success isn't about the destination. It's about the journey and the growth we experience as we balance our careers and the chaos of family life. Whether you're a seasoned mompreneur or just starting on this exciting path, join me and our amazing guests as we explore what it truly means to be a resilient entrepreneur striving for abundant living. Get ready for real, raw, and remarkable conversations that will inspire and uplift you. Because here at the Real Moms Podcast, we believe in the power of community, authenticity, and the strength that comes from embracing the journey together. So grab your coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into the world of mompreneurship. This is the Real Moms Podcast, where we celebrate the hustle, honor the struggle, and thrive as resilient entrepreneurs living abundantly.
Welcome to another episode of Real Moms Podcast. I like to start every podcast off with a motivational quote, and today's quote is, "Everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves us." That's by Tony Robbins. So today I have Leah Whitman. She is currently a coach with Wealth Outside Wall Street, real estate investor, and had a 30-plus year career in corporate America. As a coach, she is helping people implement a methodology to become financially free in 10 years or less. Leah and her husband have 3 children, 2 grandchildren who are 2 and 4, and they live in Clayton, California. She loves to travel, spend time outdoors, playing cards, yoga, Qigong, and cooking. So, Leah, thank you so much for being here. Maybe I mispronounced the...
It's Qigong.
Qigong. I've never heard of that.
Qigong. Yes, one of my new favorite things. Yes.
What is it?
It's really, very ancient. It comes from Asia, and it's mind, body, and spirit. And it's all about Qi is the energy that we have in our body. And as we move around the Qi, then we integrate mind, body, and spirit. Then it really helps proactively with health and mental clarity and super fun. So yes.
I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of that, but I am all about like mind, body, spirit.
Yeah, so my favorite guy is, I'll just give a shout out to him, Lee Holden. So he teaches online. So it's awesome because you can teach, you can do classes live with him on Zoom, and he does awesome Q&A at the beginning. Learned so much. And then you can do he records everything. So then you can do them anytime you want. So he's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to look into that. So Leah, tell me a little bit about where were you at in corporate America? What kind of took you to where you're at today, and where do you see your life going?
Yeah, well, that's a long road, but so
I was like that was maybe a little bit of an overkill on the question that I asked. So let's start.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So I worked in corporate America for 30 years. I was in sales. I predominantly sold in the high-tech industry and had the great fortune, had a great career to work with a lot of executives, middle-level management, then just the operational people, and really just working across many, many different industries. And so it was a great career for me because I was able to really manage my schedule as being a mom. Like family has always been my guiding principle on making my career decisions, where I worked, when I worked, how, and so it was a really great career for me. And so I did that for 30 plus years. And I so I had been a great saver along the way. And about 2019, I had found the group that I now coach for. And I started implementing their methodology. And it came at a really good time because it really taught me how to reconfigure my assets so that I had choice as to what what I was going to be doing with my life. And so within about 18 months, I actually became financially free on paper, meaning I was able to, have the choice of when I wanted to actually, exit corporate America on my terms. And so in 2021, I actually retired, and which was fantastic because it came at a really good time for me. My husband and I are a little bit older now, and my husband is older than me, and so we had some priorities to travel, spend time with the grandchildren, just kind of get out of the corporate grind, right? I mean, I had a great career, I had all these great experiences, and I don't regret any of it. And I was really kind of done, right? I mean, it had a toll on health. It had a toll on just mentally. And, right, there's a lot of ups and downs that we all go through as we work so hard. And so I was really ready to prioritize me. So it just came at a really good time for me to kind of step off that train and start to really prioritize work-life balance and start to do things that I was really passionate about. So I'll pause there and see what questions you have.
Do you think this is something that you wish you would have found sooner in your career or in your life? I mean, I think everything happens for a reason, in the perfect timing, all of those things. But I mean, obviously there's a part of us that says, "Oh, I wish I would have found this earlier so I could have been," because when you are younger and you have little kids, like it is a grind. It's a lot of like tug and pull. Do you feel that if you would have had this at a younger age, that maybe you could have spent even more time with the family?
Absolutely, because yeah, it's such a great question. I think actually all of us in the community, we all say it doesn't matter what age we are. I mean, we have people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, and they all say exactly the same. I wish I had found this methodology sooner. Because what it really does is it allows us to live life now versus waiting for someday, right? The traditional system, assumes that you're going to work till 65. Now it's 70, 75, right? And I mean, who knows what your health is at those ages, or if you're even alive, and right? I mean, so why not live in your prime and do all these amazing things while you have your health I mean, your health is so critical to all of us. So I think that I don't regret anything, but I am still unwinding. I'll use that word. I was a good saver, right? So there's retirement vehicles, right? We all know IRAs and 401ks, and those are great that that I have money in those. And there's downsides to those vehicles that if I had known this system earlier, I would not have to be unwinding that now and over the next half a dozen years, because I could have made different decisions of how I was saving, and then not having to, in a sense, redo work, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you thinking like along the 401k route, I think is what it is, where a lot of what, I mean, it's nice because your employer is also inputting the money. So then there's a tax break for them, but there's a tax break up front. But then in the long run, if that's where you're inputting your money, you're also going to have you're going to be taxed on the money that you withdraw. So if you need $3,000 a month to live, when you go to retire, you're actually going to need to pull out almost like $4,000 a month that a lot of people don't realize. And that extra $800 to $1,000 eats into your overall very quickly. That's a fourth of your income, or that's a fourth of the money that's sitting there that you're just going to pay into taxes. Whereas I think it's a Roth IRA. You don't get the tax incentive now, but when you withdraw the money in the future, you're not taxed on the money that you're taking out. So there's definitely pros and cons, and I think everybody's a little bit different. So I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to put into a Roth, or I'm sorry, a 401k, but a Roth IRA, absolutely, because I'm more worried about my income in my future. Now, when you say financially free, I think that's a very loose term that a lot of people use, but what would you define as financially free, and how were you able to get there? Was it a certain amount of income that you needed to have? Was it a certain amount in savings that you needed to have? Was it a certain amount of investments that you needed to have? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, no, it's such a great question. So for us, it's a layered definition, but at the very basic level, it's income, uh, um, more income than expenses, which sounds easy, and it's having income coming from multiple sources, and it's income that's taking taxes into consideration, right? You just touched upon that. And it's having configuring your assets that are fighting inflation, because inflation is always right. We're going to lose the majority of our wealth to taxes and inflation. So we teach a system, right, that provides the ability to save in a place that grows tax free. So we have all kinds of math that actually disproves that, yes, there is some advantage to Roth IRAs, but there's so many limitations to them. We have better alternatives to that allow your money to grow, compound, where $1 is actually working in two different places for you so that you can really scale and leverage much quicker. So we have this very comprehensive system that teaches how to really, put your money in a place or places, multiple places that you get tax benefit. You are growing your money tax free. You're fighting inflation, and you are able to make your own decisions, right? We don't control the market. So as an investor of any type, if you can control and make your own decisions, if you can be your own bank, then you have so much more so many more options of what you can do with your money and make it work for you in many different ways.
So is this like a life insurance policy that you guys deal with? I mean, or
it's a layered effect. So we have what we call the vault. A vault is overfunded cash value life insurance. So it's really structured for your benefit. So you're accessing that cash value right away, and you can put it to work. So that's one component of it. One is we very deeply teach around taxes, so you can save more of what you make. We highly leverage real estate, and we teach a very simple method of how to do real estate so that anybody who has never done real estate can actually come in and learn it. Because real estate is one of the only asset classes that allow you to, allow your money to work for you in 4 different ways. And it's very, very, very powerful. And then so we have concepts depending on what type of asset base you're working with, whether you're starting or whether you're, well down the path. We have asset-backed lending where we funnel some of your assets. I mean, none of this is sitting with us. You're actually making all the decisions yourself. So when I say we, right, we're just providing a system. So we're not controlling any of your money. So I just want to disclaim that.
yes.
Where we set up what we call a private pension. for you. And so private pension, you asked, how did I be able to become financially free in 18 months, which is quicker than most people, but not unheard of, depending on kind of where you're coming from. But the private pension concept was very, very powerful for me because I was a good saver, so I was able to basically reposition my assets, all my assets to be cash flowing.
Okay.
And into the private pension was one of them, and that's kind of just a branding name for us. But we believe that everybody should have a private pension in what we call our game plan that we create for everybody, so that no matter what's happening, whether it's real estate, you get laid off on from your job, maybe the market's gone bad and you still have money in the market, whatever, you still have the ability to have a consistent stream of income no matter what's happening in life. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that we build into everybody's game plan, and that's backed by a very specific type of real estate asset class that you're not having to manage. So it's very passive.
Okay.
That was a big piece for me.
Okay. So now kind of going back to the real estate side, you said real estate can be used in 4 ways. Can you elaborate a little bit more on those 4 different ways that you can utilize your funds in real estate?
Yeah, so I mean the 4 major pillars are, make sure if I got these right. There's the cash flow that you get off of them. There's the tax savings. There's appreciation, mm-hmm. and I'm missing one.
Depreciation, probably.
What's that?
Depreciation, to be able to depreciate the asset or the.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the tax savings. The fourth one is leverage. So that fourth one is leverage. So leverage really allows you, and this is, very opposite than sort of the Dave Ramsey strategy, right? We strongly believe that leverage is a key component of success. And if you look at what the wealthy do, mm-hmm. they are leveraging, whether it's time, money, resources, right? Leverage is the game changer. It allows you to go faster. Now we teach very conservative principles with reserves, because if you get kicked out of the game, then that doesn't help anybody. Yep. So because leverage, you have a double-edged sword, right? Because mm-hmm. if you use leverage wrong, then you can, right? It can go bad, right? So we really are very diligent on helping, people understand how to use leverage appropriately. Mm-hmm. And so that's a game changer, is the leverage, because it allows you to go so much faster.
It does, especially when you have that appreciation. So you're not just leveraging the money that you put down. You're not just leveraging, borrowing against the money that you invested, but you're also leveraging against like appreciation. So for example, I recently came across a data center investment fund where the return is going to be about 37%. Like that was just mind blowing to me. So I invested in it. I just did it a couple weeks ago. So I like to test things out before I share this to everybody else, to make sure like it's legit, because I would hate to have anybody else get involved and then I cost them their money. But anyway, so I recently invested in this, and like I told the gentleman that who is in charge of this whole mutual fund thing, or a fund. It's not a mutual fund. It's a fund. I said, well, what prevents people from going out and borrowing against all of their real estate and all of their assets, even if you're paying 8-9%, and roll it into something like this with a 37% return? That's 29% return on the money that's not even yours. And he's like, people do it all the time. And so it was just like that's the power of leverage that a lot of people you don't have to have the money. If you have assets, like I have an eightplex that I could borrow against, I've owned it for many years, that I could borrow against, and whether it's 90% loan to value or 80%, whatever my bank allows me to pull out. Let's say it's an additional $150,000. That's $150,000 that's not even mine. I'll pay 9% interest, potentially maybe 8, on that $150,000, but I can roll it into another investment that's going to give me a return of 37%. So that's 28, 29% return on money that I don't know where it's at. It
Yeah,
just,
and absolutely that, right, and that's beautiful, and we call that the equity mill, right?
yeah,
Because right on your real estate, when you do, if you buy a piece of property and you allow it to sit for 10 years, it's a very magical number because appreciation goes up, and you can harvest equity earlier than that, right? It just depends on the asset and the market conditions, but at the most conservative situation, the appreciation of the asset goes up. The tenant is paying the mortgage down, and oh, by the way, this is a fixed mortgage,
yep,
right? With inflation, that every dollar that you pay back, you're paying back with less and less valued money to
yes,
the banks, right? So then you do a cash out refi on that equity, that is tax-free income. So,
yes,
we're not talking large real estate investments here. I mean, you can take $150,000 house, $200,000 house, right? And the numbers are absolutely stunning. So where can you, and it becomes ongoing, right?
right,
So you can take out $150,000 of cash tax-free income. It's completely legal,
right,
right?
right.
So then you can take that money and where else do you get tax-free income like that,
Right.
right? So you can either use it to offset, like myself, I will use that strategy to offset some of my tax deferred accounts that I need to convert, because I want to be able to convert those accounts on my time versus having to be forced by the government to do, RDMs at a certain age. So I want to make my decisions on my finances. And
Yes.
so you could travel the world. You can go buy more real estate. You can remodel your house. You can, right? Where else can you do that? And if you have, 10 or 20 assets, you can do that, every year to
Yeah.
infinity, because once you do one this year, then you do the next one the next year, and then the one that you did in year 11, you do that again in 10 years, and it's an infinite game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not drawing down your assets. You're not doing the 4% rule. You are making, you have these options to do exactly what you're saying, of looking at how can I take this equity and redeploy it in multiple places to work better for me. I just did that on a property I sold, and I deployed it against two new single family home assets, and then I put it into the rest of it into an apartment complex. And not only will I get an 8% return on that apartment complex, but in about 5 years, their model is to cash out refi that apartment complex, strip out the equity, return my principal to me tax free. I'm still in the investment,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I just got all my principal back.
Yeah.
So it's very, very exciting.
Yes, and that's important to know, because I've seen a lot of deals where their exit strategy is to refinance, do a cash out refi in 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is, and they give you your money back, but then they push you out of the investment. So it's really important to know whether your investment is going to stay in that, or you get the money out and then you walk away. I mean, your situation is the perfect way to do it, because you keep that interest, you keep getting that return of 8%, but you also got all of your money back in that 5 to 7, 8 years, whatever it is. Because it's very important to understand that when you're looking and when you're doing the due diligence and you're looking at
Yes.
where to invest your money, that if you can keep your interest in that when they do that cash out refi on that exit strategy, that is extremely beneficial. Like, that is infinite money that you will then have ongoing, and you take your money and reinvest elsewhere. Plus, you get the depreciation on the taxes, especially if they do like a cost segregation. A lot of times in these big investments, they'll do a cost segregation within the first year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. So that's also a huge benefit that a lot of people on the tax saving side, that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, and we also really, especially once a portfolio is curated, is what we call it, right? Once you've been in the game for, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years type thing, right? Then you get to start to do all these very fun, looking at the portfolio to figure out how to optimize it and reposition, right? Did you buy an asset that maybe you don't love, or it's not a market that you love and you want to reposition it, right? So, right, there's the 1031, which is a very powerful way to, keep your equity, roll it into one or multiple assets. It allows you to upgrade, and then you're not paying taxes, right? So, I mean, we are much more of a buy and hold, buy and optimize methodology versus, we're not about selling assets. I mean, right, if you're going to sell it, we would highly encourage, right, to 1031 so that you're not paying taxes. Again, going back to that tax strategy and really using these appropriate levers for success.
And for the listeners, when we say, not paying taxes, what we're not saying property taxes. You're still going to have your property taxes. You're going to still have your like income tax and stuff like that. But what a capital gains is if when you own a property and you sell it, but you didn't use it as your primary residence, what your basis is, and then what you end up selling it for minus closing costs and whatever else, that is, you're going to have a gain. And that's what you're going to be paying on capital gains. Whereas if you do a 1031 exchange, you defer it. It's not that you're never going to pay it unless you pass away and it gets inherited. And then the step up in basis then goes on to your heirs. But unless you sell the properties, you won't have a gain. It's going to be deferred down the road. And I kind of want to go back to what we were talking about, that $150,000, like if you're borrowing against your asset, because a lot of people might be confused as to what that means, that it's tax free. So what I want to talk a little bit more about that is it is tax free, whereas if you make $150,000 at your job, you're going to be taxed, right? Whether you're self-employed or W-2, whatever it is, you are taxed on the money that you make. But if you are borrowing against an asset that you own, whether it's your primary residence or an investment property that you have, and let's say you borrow even $50,000, $150,000, whatever it is, you are not taxed on that income that you get from that property. Like, you will have no taxes on that whatsoever as an income tax. And that is a game changer. However, I want to tell people, don't be using that money to go on trips. Like, if you're getting to the point of retirement, that makes sense. But like when you're younger, I think that's where a lot of people get into trouble, is they'll borrow against their property and they'll use it to go, say, buy a brand new vehicle or go on all these trips. Like, you want to leverage that money and use it, kind of what I was talking about before. Like, if it's going to cost you, because you have to pay interest on that money, which is also a tax deduction as well, the interest that you pay. But if you're paying 8%, but you can take that money and you can put it into an investment that's going to yield you 15%, 30%, 37%, that's infinite money that you didn't pay money on. Like, it's just like there's so much abundance out there that this money, it's kind of made up. Like, money is kind of made up, essentially.
It is. It's we call it the printing press, and it's. I mean, the IRS. Right? The IRS has, the tax code is set up for business owners and investors. Mm-hmm. It is not set up to reward the W-2 and the sole proprietor, right? So we help people learn how to get over to the, if your listeners know the ESBI quadrant, right? Get over to the right side of the quadrant where you become a business owner. And this doesn't mean you have to go buy a franchise. I mean, there's a lot of nuances of how can you become a business owner, which is one of my favorite principles. How can you, right? How can you? And so we teach, right? How can you become an investor, and do that with a community that, is there to support you, so that you're not out doing this on your own. Because we more often than not say, if they're not really in a good community and they're trying to do stuff on their own, then, I mean, obviously people are very successful, but often, right, it's better when you're somewhere. But yeah, to your point, right, consumer debt, we do not, no on consumer debt. So that's what I'm saying. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And so absolutely, right. I mean, we strongly encourage to live life now, but live within your means. Right. And so, yes, and we very much teach principles of how do you, when you harvest that equity, How do you keep that money in your system, right? So that it is being put back to work and giving you value so that you continue to scale and grow and create that wealth. Because generational wealth, right? You're a mom, you have 3 children, right? I mean, we have this great opportunity while we're here to create tremendous wealth, and then to set up that to be generational wealth and to teach our children how to be great stewards over money and not just be, the typical consumer that's out there in the marketplace today. So it's very exciting as a mom to be able to, not only impact my own family, but to, be impacting other families. And so it's very exciting, back to one of your original questions of if I had known this sooner. So I love working with any age, but, it's super fun when we have some people in their 20s in our community. We have lots of people in our 30s, 40s, 50s. So, it's just exciting at any age because it's all within reach.
Right. And you can get creative with that. And another thing that, because the last 2 years for a lot of people, the cost of living, obviously, for everybody, the cost of living has skyrocketed.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people have a lot of credit card debt. Now, so if you are one of those people and you are trying to get ahead, but you own your own property, one thing that you could do, and I'm not encouraging everybody to go out there and just put a bunch of stuff on your credit cards, but sometimes it's hard to get ahead because they don't realize that's 28% interest that you're paying on that credit card debt. Like, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy. Insane. And people don't pay attention to that because it's not like a monthly bill that you get in the mail that you have to pay all these things, you know what I mean? So what I would recommend doing, and maybe, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not giving advice. This is just something that I've had hear people do recently. But if you have assets, I've used it even on vehicles, but if you have an asset like a primary residence, borrow against that, if you have enough equity, and pay down or pay off that credit card debt. You're going to pay it off a lot quicker, but then that can help you get ahead of the game as well. I mean, if there's other investments that you can yield higher return than the 28% that you're paying on a credit card, but pay attention to what that credit card is, or go to your credit card company and see if you can negotiate a lower interest. I've actually successfully done that. I don't know if you've ever done that before, if you've ever heard of anybody doing that, but I have actually successfully. Now, they're not always willing to do it because you're already paying it, you're kind of stuck into it, but I have successfully negotiated down the interest payment on my credit card. This was many years ago. I was successful at it, but that is another option that you have too. If you feel like you can't get ahead because your credit card debt has racked up so high because of the cost of living, try to negotiate. The other thing that you could do is there's other credit cards with 0% interest for so many years. You might be able to transfer that, but pay attention to what the cost is going to be if you transfer that. So there's a lot of ways that you could help get that interest rate down, but just kind of something to keep in mind. So Leah, tell me, if somebody was interested in joining your community or going through your coaching, how would they go about doing that, and what would that look like for them?
Yeah, well, so a couple things. I mean, if people are interested to just learn more what we're doing, right, I would encourage them to go check out Wealth Outside Wall Street is the main website, Wealth Outside Wall Street.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, this is, we're May in 2020, 2025. We are launching a book in the fall. And so in leading up to the book, we have launched a new podcast, which is very, very educational. It's called the Passive Income Machine Podcast. Ryan D. Lee is my boss. He's really the founder of Wealth Outside Wall Street. He's absolutely amazing. Do you know Ryan?
I feel like I do.
I mean, he's absolutely amazing. He's the most authentic guy.
Is he short? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
He's a shorter gentleman?
Yes.
Absolutely. I just met him back in, and actually, oh my gosh, I have a bunch of pictures because he just blew me away.
He's amazing. I do not do what we're doing justice in our conversation. He is amazing.
Oh my gosh. I gotta pull this up because I went to Utah and he went there to speak. I jumped on a call with him a couple different times. And I took pictures of his, let me see. Can you, oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's the green. I see the green. I see the
Yeah.
green. I know it. I know it's him. I see the
Yep,
green.
that's him. Yeah, there you go. Yep, I know who this is. I was so blown away at, yeah, the game of money, 80% make money, keep money, and then the 20% invest money. Income tax versus wealth tax. Like, yeah, he just, I don't know if you can see it at all, but yeah, yeah, that's who it is. I was like, Ryan Lee, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah,
So,
so
okay.
he just launched a new podcast. It's called the Passive Income Machine podcast. It's on all the platforms. And we have a summit that we will be that we are have open registration for that will be coming up. It's that the website for that is retirein10years.com, and the 10 is 10, so retirein10years.com. And there's that is there's some people who sign up for the VIP experience. There's some early benefit that we're engaging people on there, which is really fun. So those would be the three areas that I would recommend. I mean, we do have if somebody comes into our program, so I coach for what the program that I coach for is called Money Mastery.
I
And
was just so I was looking at my text messages with Ryan, and it was called Money Mastery. So I was going to
yeah, so
ask.
Money Mastery, Wealth Out of Wall Street is the company, right? And
Okay.
it's being rebranded, but it was Cash Flow Tactics. But Wealth Outside Wall Street is the company. Within that, it's the Passive Income Machine is the product or the system that we teach people. And then Money Mastery is the core program where when people come in, what that looks like is we do a custom game plan because everybody is in a different life phase. Everybody has different assets. Everybody's at a different starting point, right?
Right.
So we do a customized game plan for them. We help them see the art of what would it look like to reposition their assets? Where are they kind of percentage wise in their quest for financial freedom, right? We talk about a strike price, right? Which is, kind of what's your beans and rice, you just have to keep the lights on in your house. What are you living at right now? Foundational freedom, foundational freedom. And then, what is that next level of, where do I really want to go where I can eat guacamole anytime, type of thing, right?
Right.
And so we build these customized game plans, and then we help with tax strategy. So we actually have them sit down with we have a whole tax strategy side of things, help them really think about the art of where they can be saving more. Because some people have active businesses, some people have passive, some people have none. We help with entity setup, right? So there's a whole phase one. Once you exit phase one, then we help you get started with buying turnkey real estate, right? Our base methodology starts people with turnkey real estate. It doesn't mean that down the road, like I just said, I invested in an apartment building, right? Well, I've been at this game now for quite a while. And so deeper down the road, there's other options, but we start people with turnkey so that it gives them the highest odds of success because of the way turnkey are structured, and the community that we know of, that we refer people to. So we help people, with lending and with turnkey real estate, and really helping them think about what are their bookkeeping systems, and just really the whole journey. So there's a lot. We have a lot of education. I mean, one of the things is that the whole point here is that we are empowering the individual to, raise their financial IQ.
Right.
And it's wonderful. Like, one of the things I absolutely love about this community, and well, two things, right, is the community is absolutely amazing. Like, nowhere have I ever found a community that completely just gives back. Like, this is not a community where somebody asks a question and the people are like, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna share. I don't want to tell you where I'm buying property, or they're like, here's the answer, right? Here's what I'm doing. And so they're really, really supportive, and they're great people. I mean, all these people are very much how can I people, right? Because they're seeking something different because they know that the traditional system is broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, I love watching the transformation of people. It is so wonderful. I mean, I didn't realize it. One of our wealth strategists that does the game plans, the customized game plans for us. I didn't realize this one student that came in was his friend, and I've been working with him and coaching with him. So I've seen him from the very beginning. And so he's an engineer, so he's very skeptical. He's male, so he's, doesn't, where's the holes? Why, where's the tricks?
Catch.
Right, absolutely, right, which is great. I mean, it's one of the great things about men, right? Like because they're about protection, right?
Oh yeah.
So he's dove into the content, he's done all the work, he's been taking action, and he just did this amazing post. I think he's been in the community. Well, no, I guess he's been in the community a year because he said he was celebrating. He's like, if you told me a year ago that I would be, saving on taxes, I've bought 3 turnkey, assets, that I had, deployed this and done this and done this. And he went through all of his wins. He goes, I would have never, ever, ever believed it. He goes, this is just, I can't tell you how much fun I'm having. This is so awesome. I mean, it was just, you could just feel his excitement just jumping off the post. It was really fun. So, yes, it's very fun. So that's what I love about coaching.
So this is just kind of crazy. So Wealth Without Wall Street, is that owned by Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It is. It is the craziest thing. I was on a EXP icon call, and one of the gentlemen on there said, I believe 100% in the wealth of Wall Street. So I actually jumped on a call, which, full transparency, I was a little off put because when I like to talk about business, especially with somebody I don't know or don't know much about, I would rather do like a Zoom call or a Riverside or something like that. Well, the call was actually a phone call. So for me, I can't focus very well. If I'm just on a phone call, somebody's trying to tell me about their information, I lose interest, So if it was like a Zoom call, I feel like I would have.
They can see the face. You can get to know the person a little bit better.
I get a good feel for it. Now it's just instantly, I was like, nah, I'm not interested. But that was literally like 2 weeks ago. So I met Ryan 8 months ago. Talked to him, and then I didn't even know Wealth Without Wall Street was Ryan's business, and I jumped on a call a couple weeks ago because somebody told me about it, and then here we are. So it's kind of like, hey, God, or God's like, hey, Shae,
universe is lining up for you.
I can slap you in the face with this, but here's your sign. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you need to come on over.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, the biggest thing that I'm sure catches a lot of people is obviously the investment into it. Is that something that you guys can talk about? Is that something that you talk about on the strategy call? What is the investment that somebody would need to be part of this community?
Just the upfront investment to join Money Mastery?
Yes.
Yeah, it's $4,997. I mean, okay. We will save you that. Well, no, let me rephrase that. You will save yourself that in a heartbeat in just learning how to implement taxes in year 1. I mean, it completely pays for itself. However, so it's really, look, if you have high credit card debt and you're not saving 10, 15, 20% of your income, then you're not really a good fit for our community, right? You need to get your house in order and then come see us, right? And then we can help you scale and grow and do great things, right? But you don't have to be like uber wealthy either. Right. I mean, right? So the program is, basically call it a $5,000 bill.
Right.
And that jump starts you, that gives you that all the upfront plan and everything. So, and then, then that with that customized plan, then you're learning how to reconfigure your assets and you're making the choices. That's a collaborative effort. Again, you in the end are the decision maker. We don't do anything with your money. Right. But we show you an alternate way that's very powerful.
So anybody who's, with the listeners, if you hear $5,000 and you mentally already check out, keep in mind one of a quote that I had heard was, and maybe it's not really a quote, but you have to think of it as, okay, so the poor will purchase a book or look at a book and say, oh my gosh, that's going to cost me $25. Whereas the wealthy see a book and say, how can I get $1 million worth of knowledge out of this $25? So you have to kind of flip the way you think about something. Yes, 5,000 might seem like a lot, especially if you have like a lot of credit card debt, or you're not really getting ahead and you're trying to save a little bit. 5,000 seems like a lot. Full transparency, I've spent way more than that on many other things.
Absolutely.
But you do win some, you lose some, all those things. But the $5,000, the way you have to look at it, especially if you have other assets and in our real estate, whatever it might be, is how can I take that $1,000 and turn it into hundreds of thousands of dollars? I mean, that's not an exaggeration. You could easily take $5,000, and it is interesting. The more you learn about taxes when you are investing, I don't like taxes. I'm not a CPA. I don't know why anybody would want to be a CPA, but it does get to be a little bit fun when you could be like, oh my gosh, I can pay $4,500 for a cost segregation and it saved me $60,000 from paying in. Like what? Like it's things like that. That's tax savings, guys. That's real money in your pocket.
It's real money. Yeah, you're right, Shae, right? It's an investment in mindset. We spend a lot of time on mindset, right? Because it's really not only breaking some of the traditional concepts that we've all grown up with, because we basically do everything opposite, right? But it's also really, helping people think how can they be more resilient, right? And because life is always going to throw you challenges. I mean, that, right? It doesn't matter if it's personal, financial, whether it's investing. I mean, there's always going to be something that, life happens, right? And then taxes. Yeah. So we are kind of a crazy community. I mean, we celebrate taxes. We have quarterly tax calls and you're like, woohoo, we are going.
I know, like it doesn't sound exciting, but when you start learning it.
Clear my calendar and block out. Like we just booked a camping trip with our grandchildren and it's Q2 quarterly tax training. I'm like, crap, I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to listen to taxes while I'm camping, because I'm like, I am a big question asker. Yeah. And so I like to attend live. Yes, it'll be recorded. So yes, I could attend afterwards, but I like to ask questions. Yeah. So yeah, we're a little wacky, but it's just so powerful when you understand and every year, right? I mean, I continue to evolve and improve my tax position because I continue, things I didn't either hear 3 years ago or just wasn't ready to implement 3, 4, 2 years, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm ready this year to do it. Or, last year I did new things that, it was the right time, so timing. So yes, it's a very evolutionary journey. That's what it really is. It's a journey and it's a fun journey.
And it's interesting how you can hear the same thing over and over again, but it's not going to click until your mindset and you is ready. Yep. Because it's kind of like Think and Grow Rich. I remember the first time everybody's like, oh, it's the best book ever. It's amazing, And the first time I read it, I'm like, what the shit?
So weird, right? Yes.
I was like, that's
very powerful.
Yeah. And then now, like, I haven't started rereading it entirely, but I've read parts of it. I'm like, oh, this is making sense now. Like, it's starting to click. So just because something doesn't make sense to you, don't completely disregard it. Like, you got to keep going and you got to be a sponge and absorb it and learn it. Doesn't mean you're going to understand it right away, but eventually it will click. Because then you're just going to be like, holy shit, that makes sense. Or like, me reading the Bible now, like verses in Psalms will make sense more to me now. And I may have heard that Psalm before 100,000 different times. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. Like, oh, this is all making sense. But like, it's all in your mindset and how it just comes full circle. And I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just sent a guy back this morning. He's at the turn. He had just getting ready to he's researching what turnkey property he'll be his first property. And so, I've been helping him through that and evaluating property. And he asked me a question today, like, okay, the spreadsheet, how can I understand it so I don't have to keep asking you? And I'm like, well, first off, you're not bothering me, so you can ask me anytime, and go back and re-listen to this content, because you're in this phase,
yes,
and you've done a few reps and you've looked at a couple properties, this is going to make a whole bunch more sense for you now, because it's the right timing, and his mindset's in a different place now, and he can hear it differently.
yes.
And so absolutely, right.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
that's just a, really basic example of just, keeping people moving forward and directing them back towards resources and helping with mindset, pulling people through panic points. Like, oh my God, I put a property under contract. Did I do the right thing?
Oh, I remember that.
Breathe.
Okay, let's walk you through it. You get that with buyers even to this day, like not even investors, just like, yeah, you just gotta you have to stay calm. You have to be the one who has that emotional intelligence regulation, because other people are going to be highs and lows. But if
I'm not emotionally tied to it either. So
Right.
it's much easier to, see things from a broader perspective,
right,
because I'm not right there, having a panic attack because,
right,
did I put the right property under contract?
Yes. Well, Leah, thank you so much for being here. So let's say, for the listeners, how can they get a hold of you? Where can they go to learn a little bit more, maybe set up a call with you at all?
Yeah, so they can reach out a couple ways, right? They can reach out on social media. I'm not a ginormous social media person, but I am on Instagram, Leah Whitman. I'm on Facebook, Leah Whitman Guthrie. I'm on LinkedIn, Leah Whitman. So, I'm out on any of those platforms. And then you could, if you wanted to send me an email, coachleah@cashflowtactics.com. Feel free to reach out, and be happy to talk to anybody, one-on-one, or answer very specific questions. So I always love to connect with people. It's one of my joys.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Leah, for being here. And again, listeners, check out the information. Go check out the Wealth Without Wall Street, the podcast that Leah talked about, and really dive into this if you really want to focus on your future and being able to financially retire in less than 10 years. So thank you so much, Leah.
Thank you for having me, Shae.
And that wraps up another inspiring episode of the Real Moms Podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their story and insights today. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And hey, sharing is caring, right? Share this podcast with your fellow mompreneurs, friends, and anyone who you feel could use a dose of inspiration. Share it on your social media as well. But most importantly, if you found this episode helpful, please, please, please leave me a 5-star review. This helps get our information out to those who have never heard or seen us before. Are you feeling inspired and you're sure that you could add some value to the podcast? Shoot me a message and let's talk. We love hearing from you. So connect with us on social media. Tag me at Shae J Spitz. That's ShaeJSpitz. And share your thoughts and takeaways, or even suggest topics you'd like to have us explore more in the future episodes. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Your resilience is your strength, and your pursuit of abundant living is truly remarkable. As always, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of being a mompreneur. Until next time, take care, stay real, and keep living abundantly.